joy, appreciation, love, peace. Those are all the feelings that are like guiding you along the twin flame journey, right? Then when you feel joy, you know, okay, I'm on track. Yeah, and also otherwise, as I will explain to you in a minute. Hello, my name is Judith. Very warm welcome to this channel. It's all about the twin flame journey here. We're talking about what you need to know along the path. We're like uplifting you, like increasing the frequencies, and that's what it's all about, right? Because it's a vibrational journey, it's an ascension journey, and we have this high vibration when we meet our twin flame initially, and then we fall back kind of into denser stuff that is still lingering in our energy field, right? And so that's okay that we have denser stuff, but if we want to be together with our twin flame, then this stuff has to go. Yeah, that's just all there is, because there are a lot of people who have denser stuff, and they are okay with that, right? They didn't meet their twin flame, but maybe they have another issue. So you would maybe like have seen people who suffer from an illness, and then that's their motivation to start their divine journey, right? So there are different reasons why we are on this path. And for me and for you, this is the twin flame. Yeah. So yeah, I'm always talking about vibration, Judith. You're always like talking about all of those things. What about this other person, right? What about the twin flame? Yeah, what about this other person? So this other person is a reflection of you. What does that mean? It's really something where we need to shift our perspective on life entirely. That is how it's happening along the journey, right? You do the healing work, you just start somewhere. You go with the things that resonate, and that's also why I never bash other teachers or other methods, or I try not to, at least, because you know, at every stage along the journey, you will resonate with different people, maybe with different things. So the indicator is always, does this uplift you? Does this like, is this pleasant to listen to? Is this like gives you joy, gives you peace of mind, or whatever, right? So that's an indicator, and it can change over the course of your journey. It's your journey, right? Yeah, and I want to tell you a little bit. Now we are like, when you listen to this as it is uploaded, then it's around Easter, and that's to me, this is really like pure joy. Yeah, this is the celebration of joy. It's of course much older than Christianity. It's like also celebrating spring, celebrating life. And what is life? Well, life is love, is joy. And how do you come to this place where you can perceive life in that way? That's really to be in a place of peace. It's only one way to put it, right? So my journey, and this might give you the direction of where you need to go, was really like to understand that everything unpleasant that my twin flame is reflecting is something that needs to go within myself. So I have to look within. So, and that's what I did, very patiently, very dedicated, and I did the healing work, I did the inner work, and in this way things started to shift on the outside. And I also started to to feel differently. I started to pick on or I started to be drawn to other teachings then, um, and this is the journey, right? And what I then realized is I was very much like coming from this place of not knowing what I was feeling. Yeah. So and um, and I have learned a technique, and I've like also developed those technique, took it some steps further in certain ways where I could pinpoint exactly what I was feeling and then clear that, right? And also know whether it's like from this lifetime, whether it's early childhood or later in later years, or or if it's from past lives. All of those things matter, right? And they don't. So we always is always both, right? All of those things matter because it gets you started, and some things really need to be released. Some belief systems need to be cleared. That's my perspective, before we can like step into our true creator mode. The true creator mode to me is like um, to decide where our attention goes, where our energy flows, where our focus is. Because there's so many things coming at you in life, right, from all directions. But where do you put your attention? Where do you give your energy? That's what you want to grow. Yeah. So you always want to give your energy and your attention to something that is pleasing you. So also with your twin flame, you always want to look on the positive things. Yeah. Of course, if you're annoyed and if there is a trigger, you want to work on that. But if you really want the connection, you have to emphasize the love, right? The love. And there's something else, because that's all very outside, right? And really, really the real thing is to go within. But we find out over time to go within. How did I like, what was the best thing for me to do that? Well, the best thing to do that was really to pay attention to how I feel in my body, and to find out how I can elevate this feeling, what I can do to feel good. And it's very much something that you can start, or it's something that you do in your mind first, right? It starts with what you think. And by changing your thoughts, changing your focus, you can change how you feel. Or there are certain, to me, all what helps me a lot are statements. So I want to give you a statement like this for the days, weeks, and months ahead, that is maybe working the same magic as it is working for me. So the statement that I do currently in my evenings and in my mornings to get this wonderful feeling in my body, and to connect to the divine, and to connect to love, and to connect more and more fully to my heart space, is the following. Isn't it wonderful? Say that alongside with me. Isn't it wonderful? And then this statement has an echo, right? It's echoing. Feel that. It's echoing, and it's bringing back all kinds of subtle feelings. Don't think of something specific. Let it just be whatever, but something wonderful. Yeah. So that's very important, because very often on the journey we go specific. We want our twin flame to react in a certain way. We want our twin flame to behave in a certain way, to do certain things. Or we want our life to look a certain way, to move in a certain direction. Maybe probably there are obstacles, there are blocks, right? So when we would maybe try to imagine how wonderful our twin flame connection is, we would not be very successful at that, even in our mind, because there are too many blocks. And so that's kind of a trick, to just put out the feeling. And that's the law of the universe. If you vibrate the feeling and the feeling only, then things that match this feeling will enter your life. It's only so that you cannot always you can never determine what that would look like, right? It's not your job to know exactly what that looks like. Sometimes we can do that, right? If we have a strong desire for something specific, then this will work. So yeah, but for the twin flame journey, it's very recommended to leave that open. Yeah, to be open. And that's what it means, really, to let go of your twin flame. It just means to give it over to the universe and to say, okay, my job is to go within, to find that feeling, to find that peace, to connect to love, to really vibrate at that level, and to have that perspective on life as much as I can, because it's not a one thing. You do it once and then you have it for all times. No, it's something that you have to refresh, and that you have to navigate, like always. It's an ongoing thing. It's only that it becomes easier and easier, but you have to care for your focus every day, right? And so your twin flame will reflect this love to you 100%. Your twin flame is the one and only person who is able to reflect the whole of you, all that you are. That's why he cannot leave out the denser stuff. That's also something that you are vibrating in the beginning, right? He cannot help but mirror this to you, and the other way around. Same for you, right? So yeah, and the more you purify your mirror, the more he is like reflecting your love. And that's the way it is. And you're just like looking out for that reflection on the outside. It doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you are inspired to do. Of course, we take steps, we write messages, or whatever, right? Whatever. That's absolutely something that well, that's how things work in the 3D, right? Inspired action. But really, like, who is vibrating at that level? Who is that person who mirrors all of that to you? You have to give it over. You have to watch out for what is showing up, so to speak, right? And not reject what is showing up, because it's either your twin flame or it's another lesson, right? And you just go by feel and trust, and the experience will lead you to trust. Only experience. Yeah. So yeah, but this has been a bunch of words. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know your needs. You find my office in the description box. If you are stuck in any way, we can like really quickly find out what your blocks are and clear them, so that you're like free to continue your journey. And I will always like try to equip you also with some tools so that you can like work on your own and navigate your journey. And that's more than statements, right? But I cannot put out those things here on YouTube. This is just for you to raise your frequency, to gain some knowledge. And for the work, this is more specific. We can work generally, we can work for a collective, and maybe I am like putting out a free webinar or something like that another time, or I make a video. I don't know, I haven't thought about that yet, but certainly for you specifically to clear your blocks, this needs to be a one-on-one session or maybe a small group. Yeah, those are the things that work. Good. So I wish you beautiful days, beautiful hours, beautiful moments. Because as you know, it is always only now. It's now and now and now. So it matters a lot how you feel right now. That's what you're projecting into all eternity, so to speak. So yeah, so try to make the most of this moment. And I'm here to help you to do that. So take care, and I see you in the next video. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.